Welcome to Internal Investigation, hosted by your very own Motivational Scott.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I was thinking, and there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." And I thought about that because a stronghold is actually a mindset. It is a way of thinking, right? It is an attitude. And it's important to understand that when we look at life, a lot of things that we deal with now, and actually our attitudes, our mindsets, that stronghold kind of tints the way we see things. And so it's important that we kind of dig into this a little bit and understand that, when you deal with racism, you can't just deal with racism as to what we see now, right? Because this didn't start here. You have to go further back. So just for the sake of America, we have to go back to the days of slavery, right? Understanding that slavery created a mindset, and it was designed to create a mindset and a system, right? That ultimately held people down, and then it created people who would then serve as masters, understanding that we're really taking a lot of power away from you as well. What do I mean by that? So when I go back and I think of slavery, right, to become a slave, just because a person was captured and taken, the master may want that person to be a slave. But as long as the person is free in their mind, they're always looking for ways of escape, right? So what the masters or the slave owners would do a lot of times is treat them harshly, trying to what we would call break them down, so that they would now give in and submit to this system called slavery. So when you look at the definition of slavery is also defined, if I can get it right, y'all, and slavery is also defined as submission to a dominating force. So when a dominating force or a force is trying to dominate you, as long as you're fighting it, you're not a slave, right? But the moment you submit to that dominating force, now you become a slave, or you become a slave to that system, if that makes sense to you. There's a story about Stalin, where what happened was they asked him, how is he going to keep the people from rising up and revolting when he's treating them the way that he treats them. He was treating the people harshly. So there's a story that says that he took a chicken, right? He asked for a live chicken. He brought the chicken, this chicken in, and when they brought him to it, he clutched the chicken in his arm and slowly began to defeather the chicken, just begin to pull the feathers out the chicken while the chicken was alive. And no matter how much the chicken tried to struggle to get free, he just held it tighter until he completely plucked all of the feathers out of it. Now this chicken is naked. He put the chicken on the ground, got a little bread in his hand, and wherever he went, the chicken clung close to him and followed him. Now, this is the very person that caused you the punishment. Now is the very person that you're now trying to hold on to and stay close to, and because he's feeding you now. And that was the system of how slavery was actually, in some sense, supposed to work, in the sense that we're going to bring a group of people in, we're going to treat them harshly, right? And then at some point, guess what? We're going to get them to begin to cling to our system and submit to what we want, to this dominating force, if that makes sense. And so understanding this, then the mindset is so powerful, because there was a mindset that was created in which now the person that's doing the dominating automatically has a sense of superiority, and this is fed by the system. Because at the end of the day, if you think about this, and I'm going to kind of wrap this one up and then we'll pick up later. If you think about this, if you go back to the days of Martin Luther King, right? When Martin Luther King, when he was murdered, when he was killed, it wasn't just because he was doing civil rights. He had began at this point. Now he said, okay, we're going to do the poor man's march, and that now affected what? The system, right? So racism is a system, and it affects the minds of not only whites or blacks, but it affects the minds of blacks and whites. It affects both groups. And one group, in their mind, they're thinking that if I give them equal rights, I have nothing left. You know, that's the mindset of a lot of the racists. A lot of the racist people, they are afraid of what happens if they get equal power, or I consider them to be equal with me. What do I have left? They're taking my jobs. They're taking this. They're taking that. You know, think about this. That's the same thing that was being spread about Mexicans coming across the border. And people started feeling a certain way that, oh, they're going to come in, they're going to rape you women, oh, they're going to take your jobs, and they're doing all these different things, right? And so you think that into recent times, and you take that all the way back, and now you see even the movie The Birth of a Nation, right? And how that spelled out how blacks were going to be, they were savages, they were going to rape your women, they were going to do this and going to do that. And so it was a mindset that had been poured onto the people. So we have to break this mindset, and the only way we can break this mindset truly is with people really being open and receiving the truth, right? Truth, amen, would actually really destroy a lot of the mindsets that we have. But the first thing is we got to be open to receive the truth. You got to be open to receive the truth. And in order to be open to receive the truth, you have to be willing to have your mindset change.
Thank you for tuning into Dr. Scott's Internal Investigation Podcast. Feel free to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all social media platforms at Motivational Scott for weekly updates.